My name is Schuyler Alton, and I will be discussing the topic of romantic relationships and conflicts in those relationships. I'm going to first go over the summary of the article that I read, then I'm going to compare some of the vocabulary and the points that were similar to that which was made in our class book, and then lastly I am going to compare it to my own relationship and how it applies. The name of the article is Competition and Interpersonal Conflict in Dating Relationships. Sorry, a long name there. The article defines conflict as, quote, a struggle over the values and claims, scarce status, power, and resources, which the aims of the opponents are to neutralize, injure, or eliminate their rivals. This article topic relates to chapter 9 out of all the chapters the most, because chapter 9 is all about conflict. Conflict in our interpersonal relationships, that is. And this includes ego conflict, which is defined as, in our book, quote, conflict that continues because neither person will let go of their personal position. Essentially, basically, it hurts your ego too much to give up the argument that you're trying to make. This study was examining the nature of competition between dating partners and the association between conflict and competition, and how some competition can be good for relationships, but some competition can also be destructive to relationships. The author found that there can be pleasant ways to compete if partners are not provoked. That provoking is basically referring to the idea that when you compete, you are trying to beat the other person. You're trying to outdo them in a way that's not just a healthy competition, but because you want to be better than them. There were also findings that showed that there can be deconstructive competition, just like chapter 9 goes over, in partners who want to outdo the other partner in different areas of life. This can even include trying to outdo partners with an altruistic partner type of trait. Basically, altruism being the trait where you're trying to give of oneself and care about others. So if I was a partner that did this, I would try to act like I care more about others than my own partner. So in my past relationship, I'm a pretty competitive person. So with my ex-girlfriend, we did compete in some things, and we had especially some struggles when it came to ego conflicts. And, so, there was times where I wanted to win an argument so bad that even when I knew I was wrong, I didn't want to admit that I was wrong, which I think all of us can relate to in some way or another. Ultimately, to summarize, my girlfriend and I would have deconstructive competition conflicts in areas where we would argue over who did more for the other, and in return it spun out into an argument where, like our chapter describes, we don't even remember the original meaning behind the argument that we were going to, instead of just trying to constructively get through it. There are always arguments in relationships, but competitive nature can cause attacks on those we love and ultimately damage relationships. Competitive nature can get the best of relationships. We have to learn to get out of our ego and decide that what it's worth to have a good relationship in the end. We can be right all day long and have no relationships, or we can not always be right and get along with each other. Thank you.